Incremental readings. Let's continue the advantages of incremental reading or incremental learning. One is the consistency, resolving chaos and contradiction. This is just bound to happen. You will import stuff in Supermemo, and hey, this article says something, and this other article says the exact opposite. Oh, what do we do now? You have information contradiction. And then you'll have a absolute chaos. Just imagine if you read about health and you read about, let's say, meat eaters versus veganism, you will have, even in the research papers, statements of opposite truths. What do we do? So let's start. The problem of contradiction. Usually contradictions arise from poor sources, errors, scientific disagreements, or from starting with a chaotic information. So sometimes you could say, I'm simplifying, that hey, this research paper has this conclusion, which is right with the information that they have, but the information is biased because of the study design is not the best, it leads to this bias, So therefore, it was prone to have not a statistical effect, stuff like that, right? So traditional learning often leads to relearning cycles of conflicting facts. I'm pretty sure it happened to you because it happened to me and friends that I went into school, then I did an undergraduate in sports science, and wait, we have learned that, and now this is different about this in the strength or whatever. I don't want to mention anything in particular. That A, we were told A, now this thing is B. A, okay, I will say B because this is what I will be in the exam. So you want that I call that B, but I learned that as A. And could be that I search online and I have a C version instead. And they are all contradicting each other. Oopsie doopsie. Inconsistent facts are the fault lines that reveal the need for deepened understanding. And this may be true. Sometimes I reach a conclusion that makes sense, and I need a flashcard to remember that, to later realize that I was wrong. But now, because I have more knowledge, I see it in a different perspective, and oh yeah, makes sense. Makes total sense. Then, how incremental learning helps with this chaos and contradiction. In incremental reading, the brain quickly spots contradictions due to the high retention. Because all of the information I already know, it's highly retrievable. I don't have to make any effort. I will spot very quickly that, hey, this is contradicting what I know. So I have a flashcard that says this and says that, and that is contradicting this, right? Then, when a fact conflicts with previously learned information, you are alerted of the discrepancy. This has a name in science, and it's called cognitive dissonance. That then you become aware that, hey, there are two different realities here. Which one do I trust? Then your memory, sharpened with repetition, becomes the mind's early warning system. Exactly. Even before you have the highlight, the statement that attacks to that contradiction that is very obvious, you just, between the lines, reading some article, you start to, there's something fishy that I don't know what it is, but it's challenging my beliefs here. That something is wrong. I'm still in a position that I don't know because I'm still reading. But hey, one of us is wrong, or both are wrong. Both at the same time cannot be true. Then converts the contradictory material. So repeated conflicts cause shorter review intervals for contradictory items. Imagine that I have different items and one contradicts each other. That, hey, what is the highest peak on Earth? Oh, it's the Everest. And another item says, what's the highest peak on Earth? Or with a different wording. And hey, it's actually underground. It's underwater. Then it's not contradictory. It's just one means the highest in altitude, the highest altitude possible in an absolute numbers, 8,809 meters. And the other one is the difference. What happens is that, since it's going below the sea level, it's more than the Everest, but overall the height it's at maximum zero, right? It doesn't go that high. Yeah, that is the definition. Then you will say, oh yeah, it's not now that contradictory. That one is using relative terms from the highest to lowest. There's a difference of 9 kilometers, and the other is above the sea is 8.8 or whatever that is. So then this is a very silly example that a difference was on the observation point. Usually this is more ambiguous, there are more factors and stuff like that. It is as easy to go into politics. You can have many stuff that, Donald Trump is a good guy. And there are many sources that will say Donald Trump is a criminal and doesn't even deserve to be a president, right? There are many information that is conflicting and contradicting. Then, resolution through awareness. You have identified, that's already a lot, identifying contradicting information. This is already a perk because of what we have seen so far. The high retention, you will detect this a lot sooner, a lot more precautious. That's already an advantage, just this. On top of that is the awareness. You become aware sooner. So you can take action a lot sooner as a side effect, which is pretty damn good. So once aware of the contradiction, you can verify the acts and remove incorrect item. So in other words, take action. That, I believe that. Let me see, let me check, let me search. Because yes, I have an item about that, it's in my brain. So let me locate it in my collection and let me resolve now why I have this contradiction. Then over time, knowledge grows more consistent and reliable because I will be aware of that. I have another example. If you remember, I did a video about Rosetta Stone. And the collection said that Rosetta Stone was built with I don't know what kind of element. And then when I searched in Wikipedia, it said a different material. But then it's because back then, when this article was written, technology was not advanced enough to detect precisely. So it was believed that Rosetta Stone was that element. And now it's possible to verify it's this other one. So what I will do is not delete that element, I will update that element. That, until that day, what material was believed to Rosetta Stone be, it's not the same question anymore. I'm asking, open, I believe, a wrong assumption that was present in history. And then another question, new item would be, what's the precise, correct element of the Rosetta Stone? I don't have it here. I will just put it on hover through editing instead. So overall, knowledge conflicts in the first step towards intellectual harmony. And that's the key. You don't want to avoid conflict, knowledge conflict. It's unavoidable. It's life. It's chaotic. You want consistency, resolving chaos. There always will be chaos. Because I resolve chaos here, but there's more chaos happening in different sides, in different perspectives, and in different branches of my collection. But this knowledge conflict is the first step required for intellectual harmony. When everything makes sense and you know all of the reasoning. Then, handling complex and chaotic information when itself is chaotic, not because I have multiple sources that say different things. Even if I had only one source, it's already a chaos, right? Keeps changing and whatever. Then, in research or specialized fields, you face chaos of competing theories. Yep, that's because it's still emerging. And it's just a matter of time that one will be proven wrong, one will be proven not wrong. Perhaps later they will be proven wrong. And just a few will survive uh, of theories. Then by putting this into Supermemo, contradictions emerge naturally. And this nudges you refine your mental models. Exactly. And then since you are able of that, some of the strategy I have is according to this author, what are the da 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 da? Because since it's not a universal truth, it's according to that person. Or according to this philosophy, for nihilism, this is pa pa pam. According to this school of thought, what is this other thing? Because I care to remember that. And then since I know the characteristics of this school of thought or whatever I have mentioned, I am nuancing, I'm making a nuance of that knowledge. I keep this in my big picture. That depends on the source, makes sense, and so on. Because I have different mental models. So from the chaos of ideas, your mind forges a lattice of insight. Again, super poetic. I'll always try to use AI for those quotes. Then, you have this very fancy word, stochastic juxtaposition, and that is an advantage. So incremental reading stochastically juxtaposes diverse information. Okay, what does that mean? What is to juxtapose? So in more plain language, so in other words, incremental reading exposes you to diverse information in a semi-random manner. And this is a huge advantage. Human memory's associative power highlights and resolves contradictions. You make iterations and you make interruptions, and because you do those interruptions, you're able to resolve those contradictions. So with time, poorly supported theories fade as stronger ones prevail. Knowledge Darwinism. Here we go. Random encounters between ideas sow the ideas of deeper truth. Nice. So then you are emphasizing the context for contradictions. Sometimes you may want to learn conflicting viewpoints. One very good example is Piotr Wojciech himself. He does very many statements that goes strictly challenging your beliefs and contradicts what you will see in many places. Let's say in formal science. The ADHD, the pleasure of learning, the non-linearity, all of that. Then, Supermemo encourages attaching context. Exactly, that's what I said before. Authors, according to this guy, this author, according to this school of thought, according to this theorem, and so on. Then, context transforms contradictions into a richer landscape of perspective. So, it's very valid that I remember these dissenting views. That doesn't mean that, hey, I have different truths. It's that according to this guy, is this truth. According to this other one, is this other one. So I have a landscape of perspectives. Conclusion, to wrap up this video. Incremental reading ensures contradictions don't remain hidden. You become aware of those, and quite soon. Sooner than other methods. Then, by surfacing and resolving them, those contradictions, your knowledge becomes clearer, more accurate, and more resilient. So at the end of the day, in resolving contradictions, we refine our understanding and move closer to the truth, which that is the purpose of learning. You seek the truth. So perhaps someone has fed you something, or you have read something, that they have some beliefs that happen to be wrong, or assumptions that happen to be wrong. So I have seen this in Twitter. Now that I have been active for almost close to 2 months, it's a good example because you see all of that every single day. Opinions written as statements that this is this thing, like this, and you have the opposite statement next to each other almost. about politics, religion, in space repetition. Just see this niche, because I don't talk about politics, of space repetition. Just with that, you will have people that state opposite truths. So it will be a good exercise. Find something concrete, niche down, so it's easier, that you really enjoy, and put this into practice with incremental reading. According to this, why these people make reach that conclusion? It's obvious it's wrong, but why for them makes sense? So why they are planet Earthers? Why there are people who still believe Earth is flat, and so on. Hope it has been useful enough. I put no more written examples for a reason, and I will cover this in a different type of course, but not here. So for now, that's all. See you incrementally.